All right. Thank you guys so much for hopping on. I just thought this would be a great way for us to kind of just, I'm a very visual person. So when I see something done, it's easier for me to learn how to do it. So I am obsessed with the container system. It's completely changed the way that I eat and just look at food in general. So I always love for people to really get this down and understand it, because I know it can be a little intimidating and overwhelming. And if you're that type of personality where you don't get it within the first day, you're just going to not even try for the rest of the time. And I think they make a really big difference if it's something that's following your program. So like I said, if you guys have questions throughout, unmute yourselves, or you can type in the chat too. But so first off, so most of us probably have the containers, depending on which challenge pack you got. Most of the programs follow the container system. If any of you got the all access challenge pack, that you have availability to all of the programs, that came with the portion fix guide and the containers. And most of the newer programs follow the container system. I would say that I follow this system even if I'm not doing a program that specifically follows it, just because it's that easy for me. So this is just my core to force guide, because this is the one that I had on my counter. But so in your challenge pack, you'll get an eating plan guide, and that depends, again, it could say portion fix or just whichever program you chose to do. And I'll show you guys how to access it on the on-demand portal also, because I think that's important. But so this is like going to be like your Bible for the next month, this little guide. So if you look in the first section, it has us figure out, and this pretty much goes for all of them, which calorie target we're in. And it'll tell you if you are shooting to gain weight, if you're shooting to maintain your weight, or if you're shooting to lose weight. I'll have you calculate your calorie target, and then it will tell you which eating plan you're in. And that will pertain to, so there's numbers for each color, that will pertain to the amount of containers you get to eat that day. So before you freak out and you're like, oh my gosh, I only get to have 2 of these little tiny things a day, it ends up being a lot of food. I will be totally honest. There are lots of days where I actually don't eat all of my containers, and I love to eat. I have an eating problem. I used to be a binge eater. So it's a lot of food. And there's days where I feel like I'm barely eating anything, but majority of the time, because you're fueling your body with such nutrient-dense foods, you're going to be really full. So don't freak out that these are just these tiny little plastic containers, because it's actually a lot once you pour it onto your plate. I don't know, have any of you played around with them at all? You can just kind of raise your hand if you have. Okay, so a little bit. Thanks for participating. Yeah, so you guys know, if you've tried them, the amount of fruits that you put in this container and then you pour it onto your plate, it's actually a lot of food. And it kind of goes for all of the different colors. So most of us now, we get these stickers, which is kind of fun. So if you haven't already put those on there, put them on your containers, because I think it just makes it that much easier. You don't have to remember which color is which food group. So make sure to set that up. But so first step is finding your eating plan. They're all kind of different, but they're all pretty much similar. Like core to force, it's about the same amount of containers as the 21-day fix. It's just if you were to keep reading through your program, like for example, core to force, week 2, you add an extra fruit into your plan, and week 3, you keep the extra fruit and you add healthy fat. And then week 4, you go back to week 1's eating plan. So you want to look through that guide really well. And if you guys have questions, you can reach out to me. You can reach out to Carly or your coach that invited you into this group because that's really important to get all of that down. But so what we're going to do tonight is I just wanted to kind of break it down because I know some people are having trouble with how to actually fill the containers, how to come up with a meal plan with the containers. And it doesn't need to be super complex. When I am eating to hit a goal, or like when I'm trying to be really good with my eating, I eat very simple. I tend to eat the same things pretty much daily. I'll switch it up a little bit, but I'm not someone who like makes these gourmet meals for dinner. I keep it very, very simple, but you can make fancy recipes and make the containers work for that too. So I'm just going to give you an example of if you were in plan A, and again, this is for Core de Force. I think it is the same for 21 Day Fix, depending on, you know, which program you guys are doing. But so basically an easy way to do this, there are tally sheets in, let me see, I think it's in the back of the guides, but you can also access them online or on demand that you can print out if you're a visual person like myself. Where are they in here? I'll find them in line. I can't find them in here. Anyways, it looks like this, but you can mark off as you eat the containers. What I do, because I don't have a printer, is I have a whiteboard, or like I used to have a chalkboard at my old house, and I would just write little squares for each amount of each color, and I would just put a check through them as I would eat them. And that was just easy for me to keep track. That way, if I went out to dinner, I could look at my board and be like, okay, this is the options I have when I go out to eat. So let me share my screen because I want to show you guys some example pictures. Can everyone see that? Okay. So this was my dinner tonight. It's not fancy. This is why meal prepping comes in hand, because I have had such a busy day today, and these are all leftovers and things that I had prepped. But so this is just an example of a dinner. A lot of the times my dinners, you can see this is very simple. I will do a protein, a veggie, and a starch of some sort. Sometimes I'll do double veggies, depending on how my day has gone with eating. And that protein, you actually, I probably could have had 2 of those turkey burgers, but I just had 1. But so anyway, so this is just an example. You look at these tiny containers, and when you fill them up and you pour them on your plate, that fills my entire plate. And I actually got to have 2 of these yellows, so I had double the pasta tonight because I had saved my carbs. But so this is just an easy visual of how you guys can use the containers to fill them up. So basically, I just cook for my family, and then for me, I just measure out my foods and pour them on my plate. Let me show you. This was just an example of my lunch the other day. Again, super easy. This was just a chicken salad. This was leftover breaded chicken we had made. Threw it in a salad. Had 2 of these green containers with some pumpkin seeds and feta cheese and dressing. So that's an easy way to do a salad too. Okay. Let me stop that. So again, those are just very simple meals with the containers. If you guys like to cook different recipes and you want to know like how to fit them in, I don't know if any of you like Pinterest, but if you literally go to Pinterest and type in like 21 Day Fix meals, there are thousands of meals. They are some really yummy recipes. There's the exact container counts that they are. So you can base it off of that too. Does anyone have any questions so far before we move on? No? Okay. Cool. So when you get into meal planning, the nice thing about this, because I think some people, another reason why like I used to get intimidated by the containers was that like I never knew what I was going to eat for the day. So there would be some days where I would feel like I ate all of my containers before like 3 o'clock. And then I was like, crap, what am I supposed to have for dinner? A good way to do that, if you have like a family or you know, you live home with your parents and they're making a meal, you can always figure out what that dinner is going to be. Count those containers and then kind of work your way back. So I plan out kind of rule of thumb, we should have a breakfast, a morning snack, a lunch, an afternoon snack, and a dinner. And if you guys look in the files tab of our group on the app, there's just some sample meal plans that have all of those in there too. But so just to give you guys like an example of what my day looks like with food, and then maybe Cara can share hers too, although hers are a lot of yellows because she's very limited to what she can eat. Somehow she's just like all yellows and it works for her. She still gets abs. But for me, I usually will for breakfast either have my shake, which your Shakeology is one, the actual Shakeology itself is one red container. It counts as a protein. If you add in fruit, that is one purple, or depending on how much fruit you add in. If you do an almond milk of some sort, or a coconut milk, or any type of milk, anything besides water, pretty much, that's going to be, so Autumn says that any milk product we should only have like 3 times a week. And that's 16 ounces. The way that I look by it is when you're having your shake, you're only having 8 ounces of almond milk. You're not usually having 16. So I count, if I put almond milk in here, I count it as half a yellow because technically 16 ounces is a full yellow. So if you add that into your shake, you need to count that as well. And then of course the teaspoon, if you add nut butter or coconut oil or anything like that, that's going to count as one of your teaspoons. So if that was your breakfast, then you want to count all of that. I know some people have had questions about how to mix the Shakeology and counting it with the containers. You do have to count everything that you're adding into the shake. It's not just everything equals red. But so then for a mid-morning snack, you can kind of look and see what you have left on your container tally sheet. So whether you're going to have some like mixed nuts, which would be a blue, or like, I'm trying to think what I have for snacks sometimes. Sometimes I have just like a Greek yogurt, a plain Greek yogurt, and add in just some raw honey and granola or almonds or something. Then you're just going to mark that down in your tally sheet too. And then lunch, the great thing about meal prepping, I don't know if any of you meal prep, even if you cook, what I tend to do, me and my husband, we try to just make like double the amount that we would actually eat that night for dinner, because then we have lunches for the next day and it just makes it easier. Like tonight, for example, last night, I pretty much took every vegetable in my fridge that was like about to go bad and just did a big stir fry. And so now we have veggies in my fridge for like the next couple days. And it made it easy because I had just gotten home and didn't have time to actually cook something, so I could literally just warm it up. So that's just a tip right there, is to just make more of what you're already cooking and have it for lunch the next day or have it for dinner the next day. Because lunchtime was always a tricky thing for me. I think a lot of times people think we need to always have salads when you're trying to eat healthy, and you don't have to. So try that out. But so then you're going to have another snack in the afternoon. Sometimes I do my shake as a snack. Sometimes I do it as a meal. But if you've already had that for the day, say you have a purple left and you want to do an apple with peanut butter or almond butter, you guys get the idea. you want to look through your booklet, and I'll show you again on demand too, but they have, oh, I found the tally sheets. Here they are. So they're blank, but they only give you like 3 of them in the book. So if you go on to the website, you can actually print sheets out so that you can keep doing it. That's what I did when I did my first 21-day fix, and it was much easier. But in this booklet too, for each color, so this is red, proteins, it gives you a whole list of things that you can eat. And you're not necessarily limited to this list, but these are basically like the most nutrient-dense foods of that category that you should be eating. So that's why they're in here. But so I just would go off of that list, see what I can eat, and that's how I would kind of plan my day. I know that in this day and age, and just in general, when, you know, we live in a world where we want everyone to do everything for us. We don't want to do anything for ourselves. We don't like when things are hard. And this is going to be something that you're going to have to take the time to learn. You might have to take an extra 20 minutes out of your night to plan your next day. If you're someone who works full time, or someone, even if you're like me, I work full time, but I work from home, but I have 2 kids. And if I don't kind of plan my day out, or at least have gone to the grocery store and have options in my fridge, then I will just self-sabotage myself all day long. And I will order pizza, and I will, you know, every easy, convenient thing that I can find, I will do, because I didn't have a plan. So if you have to take an extra 20 minutes out of your night before you go to bed to pack your lunch and your dinner for the next day, or kind of at least just write down what you're going to have, or even if you're someone who likes to really plan ahead on Sundays, you know, figure out your meals, go to the grocery store, and prep a couple things. Some things that me and my husband also like to do, just to be prepared, is like on Sundays we'll hard boil a bunch of eggs. I will grill some chicken, or just like ground some turkey meat, just to have some quick protein options to either throw into a salad or throw into a dinner throughout my week. I will cut up vegetables, cut up fruits, making things just easier for yourself. Even though, yeah, you might take an hour out of your Sunday to do that, you're going to save yourself so much time throughout the week that it's going to be worth it. So, you know, we made this commitment to ourselves. We all purchased a challenge pack for a reason. We all decided to do this for a reason. And so, yeah, some days might be a little hard, and there might be like some learning times, but it is going to be worth it. So, you know, nothing great ever came from easy. So does anyone have any questions, or even just about the challenge group in general? Because I will just kind of unmute you guys. Just because I know this is our prep week, so me and Car and the rest of the coaches in the group just wanted to make sure that everyone fully understands and is like ready to go for Monday.
I have a question, Ash.
Okay.
I haven't looked at the packet for the little containers yet, but does it say anywhere that you have to have like carbs only in the morning and afternoon, or can you also have carbs at night? Like, does it matter in that sense, or depending, or does it just matter on like how much is in the container?
I don't think it really matters. I mean, should I have had 2 yellows of pasta tonight? Probably not. It probably would have been better to have my carbs earlier in my day, but I don't think it really matters that much. I know they say to try and have fruits earlier in the day because fruits it's natural sugar, but you know, they can be high in sugar. Proteins are the best to have later at night. But that's a good point that you brought up, because like how I was saying that I sometimes don't get all of my containers in, it's good to at least try. I know like sometimes our bodies are adjusting, so I'm doing hammer and chisel, and I'm actually on a higher eating plan with this just because it's such a intense program with a lot of lifting. So it is so much food, and I'm like struggling to eat it all, but that's how the program works. So you have to kind of trust the process too. I think a lot of times we get scared when we see like all this food and you're like, but I'm trying to lose weight and I just keep eating. But like we have to eat to lose, which sounds kind of weird. But so we should always try and at least do our best to get all of the containers in for the day. There's going to be some days where you won't. There's going to be some days where we're going to have an extra of something. If you are feeling like you're going to like pass out or something, don't be like, oh my God, I can't eat anything else because I don't have any containers left. Like, have something. It's not like the end of the world. I've had people that have messaged me and be like, I feel like I'm so lightheaded. I feel like I'm going to like pass out. And I was like, go eat a piece of fruit. Like your blood sugars are down. Like I don't
don't die.
Yeah. But so yeah, I don't think that matters too much. Obviously we want to try and like balance our meals. So we're not having like, a bunch of everything. That's why like usually I try to have a veggie. I've been trying to have more vegetables with breakfast, with like my eggs, to try and like balance it out throughout the day.
What would your suggestion be? So if I wanted to make the same thing, like keep it super simple and do like the same thing every single day. I know Tori, that was one of her questions. She was like, I know Ash makes it for a family and she has more mouths to feed and stuff like that. She doesn't know how to go about, and now I haven't really messed around with these too much either, so I don't really know what to tell her, but she wants to do the same thing with her work schedule. She's like very diligent. She can do like the same meal for 1 week and a different same meal for the next week and so on and so forth. What would you, I guess, I forget what her question was too.
Like what would she eat? Is that what she's asking?
Yeah, because she's like, if I get a whole thing of turkey or, a lot of something and I have like fish, for example, if she does like 1 day of fish, she doesn't want to have like 4, if she gets a package of fish, she has like 5 more, things for the rest of the week. But if she doesn't want to waste food, I guess is her main concern, because she thinks it's going to get expensive, but she wants to stick to the same thing every, for 1 week. And then stick to it.
Well, so this is kind of like when I did the ultimate reset, I ate the same meals every other day. And, we're on a budget too. So I get it. It can get expensive. And that's another reason why I just eat really simple. So like a suggestion for her, if she's someone who can eat the same meal every single day, or maybe have her pick like 2 things that she wants to do, she could just grill a bunch of chicken or make a bunch of turkey meat. She could have, for dinner, she could have a piece of grilled chicken, a sweet potato, and broccoli. Like that's super simple.
Yeah.
She could stir fry a bunch of vegetables, and then like I even have, let me grab them to show you. I got them on Amazon. These containers, like if you're someone who really likes to hardcore meal prep, are great. These were like $10 on Amazon for like $10 for like little TV dinner containers. They can go in the microwave, dishwasher, everything. That's what I used for my ultimate reset. And I would just, every Sunday, I would just make a week's worth of food and I would put them in those containers. And literally I would just grab them and go. So she could do something like that. Like overnight oats are great for breakfast with some oatmeal and Greek yogurt and either water or almond milk and some fruit or whatever. There's a bunch of recipes, but you can make those ahead of time. And those can sit in the fridge, and then she can grab those for breakfast, or if she has her shake. She could make up little things of like, I used to make my own trail mix because it's not as expensive, and then you can kind of throw in whatever you want for like a snack. So I would just have her pick like 2 main things that she likes and then just make bulk of it.
Okay.
And I would suggest, like, I would have her get some of the containers like that so that once a week she can do that and just kind of be good to go.
So simple and like keeping it pocket friendly too. So
yeah, because if people don't, like, some people can't eat the same meals every day. Like my sister-in-law did the Ultimate Reset also, and she was someone who like needed to cook something different every single day. She realized after the first week of meal prepping, and she wasted a lot of the food that she meal prepped for the first week because she just didn't want it anymore. So if you're someone that you know you don't care, then that's good to do. But like if you're the type of person that you're like, I'm not going to eat this more than 3 days this week, then I would pick like 2 things and be like, okay, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm going to eat this. On the other days, I'm going to eat this.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Want to show how to do all of the meal plans and stuff from Beachbody?
Oh, yes. Thank you for reminding me.
Just because I know a lot of people don't get the actual booklets anymore who are Beachbody on Demand. And it's
Okay, so let me share that again. Where's my internet? Okay. So if you're on your on demand, and I have the all access pass, which if any of you have Beachbody on demand and you don't have the all access, basically you can talk to your coach, but it's just an upgrade to have access to every single program that Beachbody's created and all of their meal plans and all that stuff, and then all of the programs that are going to be released in 2017. That's something that's going to be available through the end of February. So if that's something that interests you, definitely chat with your coach who brought you here. But so this has all of the programs right in here. So depending on which one you're choosing to do for the health bet, I'm just going to go to Hammer and Chisel since that's the one that I'm doing. You're just going to go ahead and click on it. And then over here on the right-hand side, across from all of your workouts, is where you'll find your workout calendar. This one you can break down the different ones. And then here's your program and nutrition guide. Sorry, my computer's been really slow lately. Okay, so basically it's just printouts of exactly what the book is that would come with the program. So you can read through all that, but right here, so this one's a little bit different. Most of them you put in your weight and then you like add and subtract based on your level of activity. This just has you go by numbers, but so you just take this little quiz, figure out your score, and then it will tell you right here which plan you are. This one has a ton of plans, and that's how many calories you should be shooting to, even though we don't count calories, shooting to consume. So I'm on plan B, which usually in all the other programs I'm in plan A, so this is different for me. But then if you just scroll, keep scrolling down.
Eventually you'll get there.
Eventually, yes, here we are. So it has all the other ones too, but so then this will tell you each container color, and then you just look at what plan you're on, and that's how many of that color per day that you get to have. So it's really easy. And then there's always like example meal plans too, like just looking at the Core de Force. I wonder if there's one in here. So even like, look, tip, if you're feeling hungry, try adding an extra green or red container to your plan, or if you're feeling sluggish, try adding an extra purple or blue container. So definitely this week, here's an example of a tally sheet filled out. And yeah, here we go right here. So if you go to teambeachbody.com, get fit, fitness tools, workout sheets, that's where you will find the blank tally sheets that you can print out. That look like that. So just all of the, wanted to see if they gave you example ones in this. Here's recipes. I don't know. But I'll show you on here. In quarter force, you can't really see it, but that's an example day that they're giving you on plan A. So it says like breakfast, yogurt with berries, so 1 red, 1 purple. Mid-morning snack, toast with a teaspoon of almond butter. So 1 yellow, 1 teaspoon. Lunch, they're having the steak salad with mango lime dressing, which is a recipe in here. So it's 2 greens, 1 purple, 1 red, 1 orange, and 1 blue. And then afternoon snack, Shakeology with 1 teaspoon of peanut butter. So that's 1 red and 1 teaspoon. Dinner, grilled tilapia, steamed kale, and broiled sweet potatoes. So that's 1 red, 1 green, and 1 yellow. And it just says tip, try eating every 2 to 3 hours, which is just going to keep you full and kind of going throughout the whole time. And something that I think they're on the tally sheets, but something that's super important too, yes, it is on the tally sheets, is to keep drinking water. That's something that I kind of made a New Year's resolution for myself, was to wake up and have 25 ounces, which is your full shaker cup of water. I love coffee, so literally it'll be 9 p.m. and I have not had a sip of anything but coffee that day, which is bad. So I've been trying to start my day with 25 ounces of water, and just like I shoot for 5 of these a day. And the rule of thumb is generally taking your body weight and dividing it by 2, and that's how many ounces you should have in a day. I try to shoot for like a gallon, just because I know my body and my skin and everything like love that. So keep that with you. I also saw another coach. She actually just has different water bottles that she fills up, so she can just grab them and go. And then like however many they are, that's just how many she has to finish for the day. So whatever works for you. There's also like those water bottles that have the amounts and the times on them. So if you're someone that likes something like that, I think even like Five Below might sell those. Etsy definitely has them, but definitely keep your water up throughout the process also.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not really about meal prep, but more about how many times do we have to post, like, do we post all of our meals and every one of our Shakeologies throughout the day? Or I'm not exactly, I mean, this is probably repeated information, but I've read so much that I don't remember.
For like the health bet requirements, you mean?
Yes.
Okay. So no, you don't have to post any of your food pictures. It's just for the actual health bet requirements through Beachbody. The way that you win the money is starting on Monday the 9th. You have to post 5 Shakeologies. You have to take a picture of your Shakeology. It doesn't have to be in this cup. It can be in anything. Mm-hmm. And log that at least 5 per week and at least 3 workouts a week.
Okay.
So those are like the minimum requirements where you will get the money. You can log more than that, but for each of those 4 weeks, that's what you have to have logged. And then we'll have like just some random posts that have nothing to do with actually getting the money. It's just more of like motivating and keeping you accountable. So yeah. But so you don't have to post any of your pictures. We might ask some people to share things like just to be like, hey, what are you eating for lunch type of stuff.
Yeah.
But no, yeah. So pretty simple.
Yeah. Okay. That's not bad at all.
Yeah. So we are going to probably get kicked off any second, but I will post this recording the link to the recording probably tomorrow. And if you guys have any other questions that you think of, if you have trouble with meal planning, you want to come up with a meal plan, feel free to reach out to me or Carly or, your coach that brought you into this too, and we can help with that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you guys so much for coming on tonight.